Ow, that has to hurt. So I am about to pack for my trip this Friday, and I'm not feeling good at all. As you can see, I just got really sick. Not sure why. I'm really sore. I've been training. I've been going to the gym, and I have a trainer right now who's trying to get me my body back, and I'm just like super sore. So long story short, I am gonna pack, and I have a lot of things on this floor right now in my office of some clothes that I'm taking with me, but I'm not gonna make this a boring video, so let's pack. Went to the semi-annual sale at Victoria's Secret, and I got me some basic stuff, you know, typical pink items. Yeah, so I'm gonna pack some of this stuff up in here, and that's that. All right, so this is the luggage that I'm using. It is a regular size, hey girl, it's a regular size luggage that I use to usually travel in. As you see, all these tags from when I was like traveling and stuff, but I usually take these off. Are you gonna help, or are you just gonna look around? I am just too sore to be doing this right now, but it has to be done because I have 3 days left until I need to go, and there's no way that I'm gonna feel like doing this the night before, so yeah. Oh God, I'm so sore, I'm so sore. These are a must if you are hiking, of course, in the mountains in -degree weather. Definitely. Now, these are not the prettiest boots you will ever see in your life, but they will definitely keep you warm, and they are waterproof. So when I'm going hiking, these are definitely a must-have, and it's very essential for me to have the proper gear. These are the basal layer pants that you usually can wear under your jeans when it's pretty much cold outside. Socks for the hiking, of course. Okay, so I'm gonna finish packing. I'm not gonna show you guys, obviously, my underwear and all that stuff. It's not really necessary, but I just want to point out the essentials of what I'm gonna be bringing as far as warm clothes, because right now, if you guys don't know, it is extremely cold in Canada, and it is about -degrees in Alberta, which is insane. Okay, here I have the 60D Canon body camera, and this camera right here is actually really good for entry-level photographers, and also great for professionals. And of course, this is my first DSLR camera, and as you see, it doesn't have the lens on because I have the lens lined up over here. But this camera right here is awesome because this is pretty much the next level from the Rebel RT3i, which is about $500. If you can get it for a decent price, I would go more towards $400 on eBay. But the screen flips up, so you can take selfies, and if you want to do more so of an up angle, you have the visual. You have the visual of looking at the screen and seeing the lens pointing up at the ceiling if you want. This camera is really sturdy, I would say. The body of this camera is about $1,000 with the actual standard lens, which is this one right here. Okay, this is a standard lens. It is a 18-135 millimeter, and it will pretty much give you the basics of your typical photo, whether you want to take indoor pictures or fashion photography, landscape. It's just your all-around good lens, and it is pretty sturdy. I would say that it's kind of plastic, you know, but I love this lens. It's really good. I had it since I first had the actual body. Attach it. So that's pretty much how it looks. It's very heavy if you don't have a strap. So you want to make sure that you have a strap, and this is how far the focal point goes. So it can give you a pretty much good depth of field, but If you are a new photographer, I highly suggest you try out the Rebel RT3i. It's half the price, and it'll still give you the great quality images that the 60D will. The only difference is, of course, is the technicality of it all is just a lot, it's just less complicated. The hassle of it all is just less complicated, and the screen does not flip up and do all the things that the 60D does. Next lens that I have is a 50mm 1.8 millimeter lens, and this is pretty cheap. I got this for about, I would say $200. And what this is, it gives you the illusion of having a blur background. So this lens right here, if you are into actually making a video or a short film, this is a must-have. It gives you very sharp images. When I mean it gives you the visual of a blur background, here is an example. Okay, next is the actual other standard lens that I have, 7300 millimeter lens. Now this lens here is pretty much for sports and landscape. So you don't want to use this lens to actually take pictures indoors. So you don't want to use this lens for indoors or just to use for your everyday use, because look how long it is, okay? This is mainly for if you want to take pictures of trees or mountains and stuff like that. It's telescopical, if that makes sense. So here is how far it stretches, okay? This is how long it goes. Like, look at that, all right? So you can only imagine when I put this on the camera, look at that. Like, it goes very, very far. So this lens is not quite necessary if you just want to take basic photos, but if you are more into landscape and you really want to get into that, I highly suggest this lens. It is a standard kit lens, so typically you can get a really good deal at your local Best Buy. If you buy a DSLR Canon camera, they'll give you a good deal with this, as well as with the other standard lens here, which is the 18-135. So look how different it is. Like, look at the length, all right? So these two lenses are very essential if you are into landscape as well as your standard photography. Okay, next we have the 10-22 millimeter lens, all right? This lens I literally just got today, and for you guys who aren't sure exactly what a crop sensor camera is, pretty much compared to a full censored camera, which would be like a 5D Mark or a 7D Mark, pretty much crops a picture. So if you have, let's say, okay, so a crop censored camera, which is what I have, literally will only take a photo of about this much of a picture. And a full sensor camera, which is the 7D or 5D Mark 1 or 2, it would be the actual full camera. All right, so I'm not there in the big league as far as having a full frame camera, but I'm not trying to pay, like I said, $3 grand for just the body of a camera, all right? And that's how much that costs. So for this lens right here, this gives me the actual full frame of a picture on a crop size body. All right, so this camera lens right here is about $700 on the actual Canon website. I'm pretty sure you can get it for cheaper. And you can tell just from the actual lens that it kind of scopes, you know what I mean? So it starts slim and then it gets wider and wider once you hit the actual ring. So this literally will give me a full size image, and I'm about to show you that right now. I love this lens. I'm not even moving my camera that much. I'm just like moving it a little bit side to side, and it's getting a little wide depth of field. It's awesome. Okay, so last of the bunch, as far as my Canon collection goes, actually I have one more camera, but it's not a DSLR. It's actually a AE1, which is an old school camera, but I'm not going to show that because it's not digital, and I'm pretty sure you guys don't feel like doing the old school ways, which is adding film to the back of a camera. Came out in the 70s, but it takes awesome photos. So back to it. The G7X just came out last year, late last year, I would say somewhere around November, October-ish. Not quite sure the exact date, but it retails for about $700. But it retails between $600, but it retails for about $600. And the great thing about this camera is it's definitely one of my favorites besides actually having a DSLR, is because it's a mini DSLR. So this camera here, like, it seriously works wonders. All right, so it flips up, the actual screen flips up. All right, and you can take selfies if you want, or if you want to see yourself recording yourself, that's great. And it's also touchscreen. So this camera, if you're not ready for a DSLR camera, this is definitely a entry-level camera for you. So I don't have the memory card in it because I'm using it, but yeah, no, the quality on this bad boy is actually very close to a DSLR. If you are filming, it is HD. So at night, if you're filming, it really works wonders. I mean, I was filming at night and it looks really clear, and I just love this camera. It's awesome. I highly suggest getting a extra battery if you get this camera because it dies pretty fast. That's the only downfall. But like I said, if you're traveling and you want something small but yet great quality photos, this is definitely the camera for you. If you're not into the DSLR yet, this is it, all right? Don't get no other camera. I'm telling you, this is the top of the league right now. A lot of YouTubers have this camera, whether they are travelers or just do beauty and makeup or hair. A lot of them are getting hip to this camera. So I highly suggest, if you're going to Best Buy or Target or Walmart, ask for their opinion, and I'm telling you, they're gonna tell you to get this one, all right? It just came out, so you're gonna be hip more than a lot of people are if you decide to get a camera for your next adventures, all right? This is a camera that I vlog with, you guys, so the past, I would say, few videos that I've had, this is the camera I've been using. Try to get good lighting, but yeah, I love this camera, it's awesome. I also want to mention, for those who are deciding to pretty much travel, I guess in hostels, and want to save money that way. Of course, no place is 100% safe, if that makes sense. So never bring very expensive valuables and things that actually mean a lot to you. So when it comes to all the cameras that I'm bringing, I bring a special lock that I typically use when if I do decide to go on a hostel. I'm only going to one hostel on this trip, but you know, for hotels I still lock them up. You just never know. For hostels, they usually provide a locker for you to store your belongings in. So what I would do is, if you have cameras and stuff like that, I highly suggest you put it in a bag with a lock on it, and put the bag in a lock. And put the bag in a locker with a lock on it, of course. And you just want to be 100% safe, and never take for granted where you're located. Never take for granted where you're at and the people that surround you. Although I haven't, thank God, had any of my things stolen, but you just never know. So just really be careful. And I've just heard like a lot of horrible stories on my travels of people getting their cell phones stolen and all that like crazy stuff. It just makes no sense to me why people steal in the beginning. It's just a horrible thing. So just look out for your stuff.